True.
Feel like that you have to put some type of disclaimer because of the whole tenant thing, or no?
No. I never received money from Russia. We never were given any money to create anything. Tenant Media and
it was all laundered through Tenant Media. I mean, obviously you didn't get you weren't getting paid in rubles.
So I can try. Right. I'll keep it real simple. You have sponsors on your show. Did you ever ask who their investors are? Did you?
The sponsors?
Yeah, like a company comes to you and says, "We want to, have you shout us out or something." Do you?
Two huge differences. God, I hope Sam doesn't kick out on this conversation. Two huge differences. One, there's a difference between a sponsor and somebody buying your content. Tenant Media was not just sponsoring you, they were buying content from you. That's one huge difference. Secondly, is the size of the deal. Now, I could be wrong, but I think Sam Seder is a man of some kind of integrity. If somebody showed up to Sam Seder's podcast and was like, we want to sponsor you for $1 million a year or $5 million a year, my guess is he would probably look a bit into that company and you wouldn't just blindly accept it. So the dollar amount is huge, and the fact that it's not just a sponsor, this is a content distribution company that's buying your content. But we'll see how Sam does this.
Like look into their financiers? Do you dig through their bank accounts?
I mean, we get it all from media brokers, but they weren't advertising on your show.
Thank you. Yes.
They were paying you a license deal.
Yes. Why does Sam have such horrible people on his show? I'm okay with disagreeing with Sam politically because we disagree with things politically, but he's not an idiot. Sam is at least he's not an idiot. Sam is not an idiot. Oh, it's okay. All right. 7.5 minutes. Oh boy, here we go.
A license fee.
Yeah.
So I licensed to Nat Geo. I never asked them who their investors were.
Who? National Geographic?
Yeah.
That's your comparison? Is National Geographic? Really?
When I license to like all these other big distributors, someone comes to me, they say, we want a license. It goes to our lawyer comes back, says, here's the agreed upon fee. I say, thank you and have a nice day. And then we move on.
So was it just Ruben who asked who Gerard Depardieu or whatever that guy's name was?
I don't know what Dave did or anybody else did.
Did you ask about who that guy was?
Absolutely. And you know what's crazy is...
Well, wait a second. Why did you ask about who that guy was?
Wanted to know. Isn't that due diligence?
Yeah, but you just said you don't ask who the investors are.
No, I said, do you? Like, do you dig into all of these things?
I've never actually.
Yeah, but the whole point of asking, do you dig into these people, is to show that it's not the expectation and you didn't, right? Isn't that the whole point? Wasn't that what that was in response to?
You. Like, do you dig into all of these things?
I've never actually been approached with anything even remotely like that.
So when I got reached out to, like, by Discovery and Nat Geo.
Even remotely like that. So Sam is hinting at the dollar value there. So Sam hit both big points. This was a content distribution agreement, right? They were licensing your content. It's not just a sponsor. And it was a huge dollar amount. And Sam hit both points. Good job. Not as strong as the second one, but we got 6 more minutes.
I said, I'm familiar with what this is. It's
yeah, no. If I mean, I licensed my show to Peacock, and
right, you know what they are.
Well, yeah. I mean, National Geographic is a well-known thing. But if somebody comes in and says, like, we're going to give you that kind of money for your programming,
what's the difference between a license and a sponsor? When somebody sponsors your content, they're basically coming from this saying like, hey, can you place an ad, or can you use your content to make people kind of like buy my stuff? I want you to endorse a product or show an advertisement to get people to buy stuff from me. Licensing content is saying, hey, I would like to buy the rights to distribute your content on my network. I want to buy the rights to your show so that I can distribute it to increase the, whatever of my network. There's a lot of things you do that, but it's buying the rights to content. Thoughts on whether the compensation was close to market rate? For Tim Pool, his compensation was way, 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 way above market rate. Not even remotely close to what somebody like him, like at least an order of magnitude greater. It was way bigger than what he should have expected to have gotten, which is, in my opinion, the largest argument for why he should have known, or he did know, that it was from dubious sources.
I'd be like,
how much money do you make on Majority Report?
Fuck is that?
How much money do you make on Majority Report?
How much do I make from on our revenue from the whole show?
All of it, 100%.
I mean, it's six
figures a month?
Revenue, yeah.
Per month?
Yeah.
For Sam individually, or for the entirety of the Majority Report?
Six figures a month?
Revenue, yeah.
Per month?
Yeah.
So why were you?
Six figures. Yeah.
So you're over 100K per month on Majority Report?
I think, well, I mean, some months. I mean, certainly the past couple of months have been really good. Some months are a little bit less.
I think you do a majority. I don't know about your other channels, but you do about 20 million per month in views.
Other channels?
Like, I don't know if you have other shows. I'm saying
no.
Majority Report does about 20 million.
That's it.
And with 20 million views per month, you do over six figures.
We had 20 million views for 2 months this year.
If you do 20 million views per month, I think is your YouTube metric.
Well, I mean, it's a little bit less now, but okay.
Oh, yeah. If a company came to you and wanted to license the show, which would...
I can tell you Peacock licensed a Majority Report. We were on Peacock for a year.
You want to say what they gave you?
Fuck, I would need to know the details of that. If Peacock is asking, was it exclusive or was it non-exclusive? Because that's a big difference. Like if they're exclusively licensing their show for a year, it must have been, my guess would be a 7-figure deal. But if it was a non-exclusive, it might have been like, I don't know, 200, 300K maybe for the whole year. It depends. Like for non-exclusive, but I would need to know I would need to know more details. Like, are you making content? Well, yeah. Is it exclusive or non-exclusive? And then, like, what kind of rights are they buying to your content? Like, is it allowing them to post it into perpetuity? Are you allowed to retract all of your content after a year? Or it was non-exclusive for the first hour of their show, and then it was exclusive afterwards?
I will tell you this. From what I read, you made more in a month than we made in a year.
Yeah, that. Assuming it was non-exclusive, that sounds... Or I'm sorry. Yeah, assuming there were big parts that are not exclusive, that sounds right. But I would have to see the exact deal. But it's not. But whatever Tim Pool, if he's trying to draw a comparison, I don't know why Tim would even try to do this. Tim was being paid massively more than market rate. He's not. Him trying to do this weird code was, that's what somebody my size could expect, is absolutely not true. He's so fucking lying, and he's just relying on the fact that nobody knows what podcasts sell for or what YouTube videos sell for, or whatever. He's way above market rates.
Year.
You want to say what they gave you?
I will tell you this. From what I read, you made more in a month than we made in a year.
Maybe that's just bad business on your part, I guess.
He's a fucking retard. You're just so stupid. Sam, please fight him on this.
Maybe. Or maybe it turns out that they were just a company who had metrics as opposed to, like, were trying to get propaganda.
Yep.
No, I think...
I mean, like, they were, right? You know for a fact they were a company trying to get propaganda. So I don't know how you can say no to that. Yeah, that is true. They obviously weren't turning a profit. They weren't even remotely close to turning a profit on anything, which is fine, by the way. You might buy early content as a loss leader, but they also weren't showing good growth either. That, like, I'm pretty sure Lauren was the one that was posting the videos on that channel that were getting more views than everybody else. And by that point, I'm pretty sure she was dwarfed in size by Tim Pool, probably smaller than Benny... William or Johnson, I don't know, whatever the weird fucking dude is, and Dave Rubin, who I don't even know what his position is in the fucking media sphere now. It's not even a good buy. Like, but even on metrics, ignoring revenues, ignoring money generated or whatever. Like,
we're trying to get propaganda.
No, I think. See,
I have a theory.
So I can tell you how much money we make at this company, right?
I would imagine it's millions.
Million per month, maybe.
I don't know if I believe that anymore. That Tim Pool's company generates millions per month. The only reason why I'm not sure is because I know some of those supplement ads can pay outrageous amounts. But absent the Russian money, I don't know if I believe that he's making that Timcast IRL is making 7 figures a month. But I would have to see other sponsors.
Okay.
So when a company comes to me and says, we want to have you, who makes, as a company, $1 million a month, a show in which we will have a non-exclusive distribution, but takes the branding, then we're going to say, in 1 or 2 years, how much do we make on this show per month? Well, it's in excess of 400,000.
This was a new show. This was this show, right?
Well, so there's a few caveats. This channel is my first channel. It's got 1.35 million subscribers. It used to be my biggest channel, where I would routinely get 500,000 to 1 million per video, or maybe like 600,000 per video on certain shows. And then we're talking about doing a show like this, where you'll get, you have 1 million, 1,000,005 subscribers. I've got 1 million plus subscribers, or with the other channels, it's big names coming, doing these debates, tends to attract a lot of sponsorship. So,
You had any?
Big names coming to do these debates attracts a lot of sponsorship. I don't believe that's true at all. The politics world is fucking AIDS cancer when it comes to politics. Or I'm sorry, the politics world is AIDS cancer when it comes to sponsorships or advertising, which is why my guess is, and somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, or if you have links to Tim's show, I'd be interested in seeing it. Does Tim even carry any like A-list, like mainstream sponsors, or is it all like Black Rifle Coffee and, you know, buy gold and invest in it? Like, are there even big name sponsors that are on any of Tim Pool's shows? Like, does he have like a Coca-Cola sponsor or a Samsung sponsor or anything like that? Or is it like all like VPNs and gold? And I've never seen a big name sponsor like that on his show, but I could be wrong.
debates tends to attract a lot of sponsorship.
You had any other deals like this?
Good question. Fuck, I hate that Sam is so ideologically captured. He's a smart guy. These are good questions. And he's not stupid. I'm sorry. I put so much stock into somebody just not being fucking stupid. Okay? And to just don't be a fucking idiot. You know what? You know what? What's today? Sam Seder's off the blacklist. Just for not being a fucking idiot, okay? All right. Refilling the bucket.
Yes.
Oh, you have had.
No, you haven't. That's a fucking lie. That's a fucking lie. Please push him on specifics. He won't give any.
You'll get, you know, you have 1,000,005 subscribers. I've got 1,000,000+ subscribers, or with the other channels, it's subscribers. It used to be my biggest channel where I would routinely get 500,000 to 1 million per video, or, you know, maybe like 600,000 per video on certain shows. And then we're talking about doing a show like this where you'll get, you know, you have 1,000,005 subscribers. I've got 1,000,000+ subscribers, or with the other channels, it's big names coming, doing these debates tends to attract a lot of sponsorship. So
You had any other deal?
What does that even mean? Like, well, and again, hold on. To be honest, you can take things I say with a little bit of a grain of salt. Now, the thing is I don't do a lot of work with sponsors. I tend to know some industry rates, and I've done work with sponsors in the past, and I've seen larger deals in the past. But the thing is, I won't fucking blatantly lie to you like Tim Pool will. So there might be things that are outside of like my intimate knowledge, but like even citing like, oh, here's the subscribers that my channel has. I've never had a convo with a sponsor. It's like, how many subs do you have? It's always how many views do you get per video, right? And then like, where in the video can I stick the ad? How many views can I expect to get in a video with an ad? Like stuff like these are like, I've never heard somebody say like, oh, I've got 4 million subs. No one cares. They want to know your monthly video views, or they want to know the views on the videos that their ads are going to be stuck on. That's what they want to know. Like how many people are going to see the ad read. But I don't know.
So
You had any other deals like this?
yes.
No.
Oh, you have had
No.
other deals like this.
So
Because I seem to remember you saying to Emma that you had not, that it was just all from members, or you didn't have any. Like,
Oh, and he's remembering. Yes, catch him in these traps. True. He did say that. He's like, oh, we don't take sponsors money. It's all members to keep this show afloat. True. And now Tim is going to make up some bullshit about how I turned all those down, even though I had the offers. I turned them down.
back.
sponsors. There's no backers, right? It's
A license deal is not a sponsorship. Like, I mean, I have sponsors.
sales. What do
Like,
you
I
mean?
have.
Oh, he's so stupid. I don't even like this media outlet. I shouldn't even be giving Sam Seder credit. I shouldn't even be giving Sam credit, because the only thing Sam Seder is doing here is he's just being not a fucking idiot who has some experience in the industry. The fact that Tim is trying to say that a licensing deal and a sponsor is the same thing, that's what he just said there, but Sam is kind of like, it's not the same thing. It's obviously and clearly not the same thing. We're talking about materially two completely different types of deals.
A license deal is not a sponsorship. Like, I mean, I have sponsors.
sales. What do you
Like,
mean?
I have. Well, it's different.
no
because
one has come to this company. Well, let's clarify.
Hello,
Let's-
Tushy.
He's going to say, no one's come to this country and told us what kind of content to make.
He comes and
Here's-
says we want to sell bidets.
Here's the
I do
difference.
an ad, but I don't have a license.
No one has come to my companies
And told me
plural,
what kind of content
and
to
said,
make.
I will give you X in exchange for X.
For this, yeah, that's what, yeah.
in terms of the production of content or a stake in the.
Doesn't matter. People might come to you and support stuff that you're already saying, which is common for sponsors, obviously, or they might see you giving very convenient lies, give you money for it, and now that compromises your ability to change your position in the future, right? Let's say that Israel came to me and they're like, we really like your position on Israel-Palestine. We're gonna give you $5 million a month for it. Oh, cool. I'm not changing anything, guys. But let's say tomorrow it comes out that Netanyahu himself was, driving a tank through Khan Yunis, just running over Palestinians, and now you're looking at my content. I'm like, well, I'm not actually gonna, I don't think, what do you want me to say? Running over people in tanks is bad, guys. What am I supposed to say about it, right? Well, there are going to be people looking at me and they're like, well, hold on. Do you have that opinion now just because Israel is giving you like $5 million a month? Or like, would you have had that opinion anyways? Like, I'm not sure, right? This is the issue with taking massive amounts of like money like this, The
company. We have no investors. We have no backing. We have sales.
Have you had other license deals like that? I'm not talking about a sponsor.
Yeah.
Tenet Media was not a sponsor.
It was a non-exclusive distribution license.
Correct. Which is not a sponsor.
Yeah, it was a license deal. Yeah. No, I get that.
So
have you had other license deals like that?
No, because if he did, Tim would have given them instead of like, pussyfooting around the topic like this. Tim would have just come out and said, yeah, we had this or that. But yeah.
Yes.
No.
And so this is
no. Name it. Talk about him. Ask him. Push him. What? Give an example of one of these things.
not.
With who? Is it another? I mean, I'm just curious.
Well,
I can't say because, NDA, even though we didn't sign anything. And even though I asked you how much money you made with Peacock, and those figures are certainly NDA'd, would be my guess. The specifics of a contract there are probably going to be NDA'd as part of the contract that you sign. Or you might even sign an NDA before negotiations. You're working with a company that's not being lazy. But now he can't even mention the company that he negotiated with. He can't even say the name of somebody. He can't even say the type of deal it would have been in without even mentioning the name of the company.
is not.
With who? Is it another? I mean, I'm just curious.
Well, I got to wait because some of these deals are still in contract negotiations, so I can't.
Oh, so you didn't have any prior to the 10.
Oh, so you lied. So you don't actually have any deals like this. You lied. These were all after the Tenet thing.
Tenet. Or you did.
I have licensed content to big networks.
Oh, and now he's I have licensed content to big networks. That's not what was being asked, right? What, when you did photography for National Geographic? Now it sounds like he's referring to shit way in the past, right? Now he's dancing around again, yeah.
We have explicitly and on a low scale.
Prior to this, you had licensed it to other big networks.
No, Sam, don't let him. He's lying. He's getting out of this, right? He's never had a deal like this before. He's fucking lying. That's why he's weaseling around this like a lying little fucking rat snake fuck. That's exactly what he's trying to do is get away from this point.
I'm confused as what I have licensed.
Tim's not confused. He just knows that it's hard to answer this question without actually blatantly lying while still like being cute around the subject.
Licensed it to other big networks.
I'm confused as what I have licensed my content to other big networks
Prior to the Tenet deal.
Yes. Yeah.
Licensed my content. He's not asking about shit you did because Tim is going to say here, I don't know if it's going to come up when Sam asks him what. Tim's going to say, well, I licensed content to CNN or MSNBC or National Geographic when I did work like 10 years ago, or whatever his, or Vice, whatever his start was in media. But that's not what Sam is asking.
Yes.
Oh,
and we also.
What were those networks?
So like Nat Geo and Discovery.
No! He's so predictable. I hate these people. He's so predictable. I could just write the lies and I could write them better. Listen, Tim, have a person reach out to me and I could write your script better than this. There are better ways you could dodge the answers to these questions, okay? You can't do it because you're too stupid to do it. You honestly just don't even know what the fuck you're talking about. Or you're relying on your audience being stupid, okay? I can write these lies better than you're doing them in real time. Fuck.
Prior to the Tenet.
He's referring to work that he's done way before Timcast IRL. That's what he's doing.
Yes. Yes.
Oh,
and we also.
What were those networks?
So like Nat Geo and Discovery when they hired me for content.
No, I'm talking about these shows.
Yeah, now, okay, Sam's pushing more and more and more. No, Tim has never, ever done any of these things. And you're going to have to ask in specificity every single possible question because Tim is doing his best to avoid the fucking answer. Oh, I'm happy that Sam is at least asking the right questions. Jesus.
I'm not talking about when you were, I'm talking about, the whole Timcast world.
Before Tenet, there were 3 negotiations currently taking place.
Okay, now we're getting closer. Before Tenet, there were 3 negotiations taking place, okay? That now, because they're negotiations, you can't talk about any of them. Before Tenet, that was over a year ago. How long do these negotiations take?
And I can't say too much because I can't violate other contracts.
You can't talk about... There is no NDA in the world that you've ever signed that's like, you cannot mention any part of this agreement ever, even talking vaguely about it, even if you don't mention the name of the company, even like, bro, what kind of slave contracts? What is the insane shit that you're working with here where you can't even mention the unsigned deals that you've had in the past, even parts of them without attaching the name of a company to them? Even HIPAA, by the way, is not this strict. Like, I can talk to you about a patient as long as there's no personally identifiable information. I don't use their like name or whatever. Like, even HIPAA is not this strict, bro.
Offers were made.
You're not supposed to tell who you're licensing to?
Thank you. Yes, thank you. Sam, keep going. It's just, Sam doesn't even deserve the credit I'm giving him. He's just not a fucking moron. He's worked in this industry and he's not an idiot, okay? These are basic fucking questions. You can't even say who you were in negotiations with. Even if they didn't come through, you can't say what company you were talking to.
When you were in contract negotiations.
A year ago, are these still ongoing?
First, you don't go out and just say, hey, guess what this company's offering me right now?
No, of course.
Contract negotiations and mentioning specific offers are not the same, right? You might be NDA'd around the specifics of a negotiation, but you can't even mention who you're talking to? You can't even mention that?
It's not. Of course not. I'm not asking what you're in negotiations for the future.
Correct. That's right. He's just asking about your prior negotiations, just who they were with, or some vagueness around the contract.
I'm saying prior.
All right, so let me finish. Yes.
Prior to Tenet Media.
Okay.
Had you had any other license deals?
License deals presented.
No. So the answer is no. That's the first thing. The answer is no, you haven't had any license deals. Now, it sounds like you maybe were negotiating some things. Now, I don't know why you would still be negotiating these, 16, 18, 24 months later for whatever reason, but nothing has come through yet, I guess.
That were comparable, and one was chosen.
Okay,
and some are ongoing.
So you never had any other deals. People had proposed them to you, but you'd never
with
signed
higher
a
rates.
Deal.
He's lying. And if he's not lying, God, I hope Sam asks him, wait a second, those people were offering even more money? Then why did you choose explicitly to go with Tenet Media? You chose Tenet Media even though you were getting better offers? Which is a lie, by the way. He didn't get a better offer. That is a lie. 100% that's a lie. 100%. And if he thinks I'm lying about it being a lie, he's welcome to sue me. He's lying, though, 100%.
We were offered more money from other companies.
Or if they were offered more money, which I'm trying to think if his show would ever get more than $5 million. If they were offered more money, it wasn't for a comparable deal. It was for exclusively licensed content, and a lot of it, not just one hour bullshit podcast a week that they had a non-exclusive. It would be like, you need to produce a show just for us on our network that we have full rights to, that you have to do a certain number of days a month or a week or whatever.
You went with Tenet.
Yes.
And Sam asked the next question. Good job. Yeah.
More ongoing.
So you never had any other deals. People had proposed them to you, but you'd never
with
signed
higher rates. Mm-hmm. We were offered more money from other companies.
And you went with Tenet.
Why?
Yes.
Why?
For a license deal.
Why?
I was offered a license agreement for comparable. I try to keep it vague, I guess, because
so just to be clear, you never signed another deal before Tenet. You had never had a license deal prior to that.
Correct.
As Timcast.
No. Okay, look. Yes, I did. I said it like 5 times now.
Now he's going to go back to the National Geographic stuff. He's about to go back to Nat Geo and Discovery. He's about to go back to Nat Geo and Discovery.
No.
Oh,
I've licensed content to a ton of networks.
He's going back to his 5+ years ago, whatever, as an individual.
Oh, I was just curious as to what networks those were. I don't know why you're getting so upset.
Because I've said it 5 times. You keep asking the same question over and over again.
You said Nat Geo.
Yeah.
So I've licensed content to like Discovery Net.
Oh, and then what is it? Vice, CNN, MSNBC?
Geo. And then there's media buyers who
but
do
not
general...
as Timcast.
Correct.
Yes.
Not as Timcast.
Quite literally as Timcast.
Oh, he's going to say quite literally as Timcast, but like 5 years ago before he had his big shows. This is like when he just first started as a fucking, like, name one of these offers.
From this channel.
Oh, really? To Nat Geo? Okay.
Yes, and I've even appeared on their networks. So I can say it a million times.
Like, even that, what does that mean? Appeared on their networks? What does that have to do with licensing content from your IP? What does it have to do with appeared on their networks? Or do you mean your show has appeared on their networks? Because in that case, why not just say it then? Because we should just be able to see it. If you sign, like, I can say publicly that I signed a deal with Rumble, I signed a deal with Kick. I'm literally on their platform. Like, I can say that because I'm obviously there. Why wouldn't you just say it then? God, I hate him. Oh my God, he's such a skeevy lying fuck. Oh my God. There's no way that his audience like watches this and perceives him as anything but, right? Like, that's just so crazy to me. that's so crazy to me. How do you develop your ideas in terms of politics and or other topics? How can I ensure I'm actually informed and not just taking echoing ideas? I don't know, bro. You just got to do some reading. Got to read.
True. I hope it's true. They're trying to come up with some sort of a... Zelensky tried to come on.
Whoa!
Yeah, they tried to get Zelensky on. I was like, what are you talking about?
When you get an offer for somebody, they must come at your bookers or whatever. Do you like stop?
Does majority report only making low six figures a month surprise you? No, that's a decent... What do you mean? That network making over $1 million in revenue? I think is pretty good. How many people do they have working there? Like 6 or 7?
Like, hold on, let me think about this, whether I want to be part of the story 100%. Or not, whether it'll be interesting or not.
Well, I wanted to stay out of the presidential election shit.
Yeah, what happened?
Okay. Gary Kasparov, famous StarCraft player. Rogan is under no obligation to host Zelensky, Klitschko, I can't pronounce his name, or anyone else. But after viciously attacking Ukraine with bullshit talking points, his agenda is clear if he doesn't allow for equal time. I'll also offer my services if a chess champion isn't too threatening for him. How do you avoid sounding arrogant or closed-minded when arguing a topic you're more read up on, e.g. pro-Trump family at Thanksgiving dinner, hurling conspiracy theories you've all heard before? I don't know. It depends on the... I mean, like, obviously you can't scream at people and over, factually this is true or blah, blah, blah. I don't know. Usually you just have to be empathetic, understand their point of view, try to, ask questions, be gentle. But, that's such a vague question. Or your question's not vague, but, you have to understand, when you ask me, how do you debate without sounding mean? It would be like asking a doctor, how do you treat a patient without killing them with side effects, right? It depends on so many, that's such a broad question. It depends on so many different things, Jesus Christ. Wait, who is Anthony Sargon? Is this the AB guy? No LOL. Why am I don't know why I was like this. Just some random X user. Okay. Bro, the different factual realities that we live in. That Pod Save America episode infuriated me and taught me how conservative these Democrats are. 670 updates, 152 comments. Wow, just wow. I'm only 23 minutes in and furious. Hasan made great points, and the host just ignores it and pivots like a typical politician. Hasan made a great point about how Joe Manchin kept voting no for things because it went against his financial interest, even calling out specifically what those interests are. The host's only response was to scoff at the idea of the president using the IRS to check for his conflict of interest, to whip him into voting. That's what you took away from what Hasan just said? Holy shit. Read the fourth paragraph. I never operate that way. When I am presented with new information, I don't take it as a personal attack on me as a person, but I adapt and change my opinion as a result. Choosing to stay stupid is more telling on your character. Damn.
The first thing to understand about Twitter, and maybe the most important thing, is that it doesn't need to be profitable, and it never needs to be profitable. It can lose money indefinitely, and nothing would happen. So that sounds fucking crazy, because it's like, well, how do you run a business with that kind of mentality? And the thing is that for Elon as an owner, two things. One,
So what about the U.S.-EU relations since January? Trump's posturing like a 2016-2020 or something more serious possible? De facto or actual end of NATO? I'm not going to even try to pretend to make predictions about this Trump administration. I have no idea. Good luck.
One you guys will agree with very strongly and one you'll not agree with. The first one we'll start off is the one you won't agree with. Elon is trying to create an open town square. He will personally sacrifice any amount of money to successfully create an open discussion because he believes that is one of the most important paths forward for humanity. So that's the one you won't agree with. Here's the one you will agree with. The amount of fucking sheer money that Elon has made by successfully, some would say the verb I want to use is hijacking an election. And like, if you don't, so that's the one you won't agree with. Here's the one you will agree with. The amount of fucking sheer money that Elon has made by successfully, some would say the verb I want to use is hijacking an election. And like, if you don't understand how X translates to profit for Elon, look at what Tesla stock did 5 days after the election, and look what it's still doing. On October 20th of 2024, Tesla stock was $130. Tesla stock is $338. Like, the amount of value that Elon has created for his other companies, like SpaceX, like think about the amount of earned media that has been created for stuff like SpaceX.
I'm not going to watch this video because I don't want to. Was everyone wrong about X/Twitter? When people were saying that Elon was fucking up buying Twitter, I don't think that people were saying that he's made a bad business decision by buying Twitter to try to influence the global conversations and win elections and rig the... I think people were just saying it was a bad business decision because he can't make money off of it and his management is questionable at best. I mean, like, if the question is, do you think it was a good buy if he wins the election? Obviously, right? But also, I don't think that anybody thought... I think this is the second big time this happened, and the first was with Trump. I don't think anybody truly, if you speak to like a fair person, like if you would have asked me, I don't think anybody would have truly said, do you think that Elon is going to buy Twitter and go full on 1 billion% like hardcore Trump shilling? I don't think most honest people would have thought that. They'd probably say like, well, he's probably going to be favorable and maybe tweak the algo a little bit and like ban maybe some left-leaning accounts like with the Iranian leak on the JD Vance stuff. But like, is Elon going to be suggesting, you know, VP picks for Trump and like stump speeching for him in swing states and paying money with a packet of super PAC and all that and commandeering accounts like the Ad America account? Like, I don't think most people would have thought that, you know. But if the point is like, well, is it a profitable buy if you can use it to basically influence the election? I mean, obviously, if you win, and that might even be worth the gamble, right? Even if you lose, it was still worth trying. I mean, the answer to that might be yeah, but Jesus.
You guys remember the North Carolina hurricane and shit? And you remember how Starlink was like featured in the marketing? Not even to consider the amount of government contracts that he's likely secured in the next 4 years as a result of this earned media. So
Oh, I remember when I got linked to this. Every time people tell me like, oh no, citizens aren't voting because of politics, they're voting because of like kitchen table issues, and they actually do care about the economy and they really do understand how the economy affects them. This lady was such an unbelievable... To be fair though, I mean, these are like micro-influencers and shit, so maybe she's just saying this because she has a TikTok or something, I'm assuming, but...
I think an expansion of the child tax credit would help you a lot more than another tax cut for wealthy billionaires.
A couple $1,000s isn't going to change my life, especially when...
Another $6,000 a year wouldn't help you at all with groceries?
With 2 children?
Yeah?
This much, maybe. But if the price
What are your
of
children
groceries...
eating?
Okay, pause.
Like, that's such an unbelievable... How much money do you make that $500 a month tax-free into your account isn't even making a difference? Like, what are we talking about here? Jesus Christ.
Maybe ones that even pertain to...
We're not watching all this either. We've already done fucking so much Hasan today, okay?
Trans rights, okay? It literally doesn't matter. People get very passionate, understanding. I'm very understanding.
It's a shocking agreement. I agree. There's 13 douchebags online. That's what I said from day one.
I know, but why the fuck would you ever hyper-focus on people like that?
Look, no. So you might be doing the right thing. Hold on.
You're doing the Bill Maher thing. You're demanding that there needs to be a sister show.
Bullshit.
Cenk dominated this. Well, I say dominated, but really it was just Hasan saying basically the dumbest fucking possible things you could ever say. Just based on when I turned into... I think I opened Justical stream like 3 times when he was watching this, and every time I had to turn it off after like 1 minute because it was so It triggered the fuck out of me so much. I just can't believe Hasan could say so many fucking stupid things over and over and over again. Holy shit.
Hold on, let me explain.
Soldier moment.
No, bullshit.
No, you're trying to...
So the minute we said the most reasonable things on earth, which you now agree with apparently, then what happened? It wasn't just the 13 douchebags online. And by the way, everybody said, no, those 13 douchebags represent all the left. You're not on the left anymore because the 13 douchebags control the left. And then what happened next? Then Majority Report jumped in and Lance from the Serves and all the other little dirtbags jumped in and they were like, no, Cenk and Tanner are turning right. The 13 douchebags are right. We need to protect every transposition even in China. Have nothing to do with China.
You gotta
we
stop.
hate them. They're Nazis.
You gotta, okay.
I mean, I'm 100% right. Every dirtbag show did it.
You gotta
Every dirtbag show did it.
They did.
Tell me I'm wrong.
This is reframing an issue.
Doesn't respond, by the way.
That is, now we've moved away from the electoral consequences of a trans ad to your own personal anger and frustration that you have with left-wing media online. We are
so do you agree left-wing media online? Those guys that I listed are full of shit. And in a tiny, stupid minority.
I have disagreements with everyone in this space, but there's a reason why, seemingly, I don't catch the same amount of strays that you do because I don't hyper focus.
I can tell you why.
You don't catch the same amount of strays, he says, as like fucking all of Twitch has had to reform the way that they do advertisements and like content licensing or content classification because of his insane fucking statements.
What do you think it is?
They think you're hot, young. I don't mean attractive. God bless on that. Okay, I'm also obviously hot. I mean, as in they think, oh, the young people watch Hasan. He's cool, and you give the thing of like, oh no, trans people are right on everything, right? You don't come out and make the distinctions that Anna and I made. Okay, so they think
correct.
Oh no, he's good. He's extremist.
Yeah, that too. Oh, good job. Cenk is calling it out. Yeah, of course you don't catch the same strays, Hasan. You literally try to sit as comfortably in the pocket. You are never ever bucking the mainstream tanky / progressive take on anything. Like, what is one thing? This is what. Oh fuck. Maybe Cenk will ask him this. Cenk should just say, can you give me one thing that you've stood in opposition to the progressive movement on? One thing, just one example of a thing, just one thing ever in the past 4 years. One thing, just one thing.
We are. He's woke left. Yay, extremist.
I think the reason, first of all, you're...
Okay, by the way, Majority Report and all of you guys, you better attack him. He apparently agrees with me. Okay, you better attack him. You're not going to attack him, are you? Get the fuck out of here.
You're hyper personalizing this into like criticisms that you've
received. Punches you in the face 12 times and you go, whoa. Why are you hyper personalizing it? Just because I called you a Nazi, now it's personal to you?
Because myself, you, Majority Report.
But I never changed my policy.
All of this is inconsequential in the grand scheme of things. And whenever there's like drama, for example, I've been getting attacked mercilessly by my former podcast co-host that has been actively trying to deplatform me for the past 2 months because he thinks that, or he's claiming that I am creating a space that is anti-Semitic. The way
I hope, dude, I can't say it on YouTube. I would get banned. It's just, he's actually one of the most disgusting fucking people in the world. I will say it again. My favorite thing in the world is that for every like male simp rapist, like if you ever look at guys and you're like, how can you be such a disgusting fucking simp for a girl? Like it's actually so fucking pathetic how far men have fallen. Is seeing women do the same thing to Hasan just makes me, I love the fact that I can just hate both the genders and hate all of you and seeing the same behavior by both sides, okay? Because for every guy out there that will simp for some like BBD lunatic that is like trying to stab him to death in their sleep, but still invites him back despite whatever the fuck else, you have people that like look at Hasan like, well, he's attractive, so I'm gonna ignore every single fucking Jesus Christ. Okay. Yeah, I enjoy criticism. I seek it out. True. What's your reasoning for banning Hasan posting on December 1st? Because we need other shit to talk about. So I don't want to see like my whole subreddit just been like fucking Hasan for like the past like fucking month. Okay, it's too much. We need other shit to talk about. Good job, buddy.
Understand where I'm coming from.
This is my favorite moment with Cenk.
All right, I'm not going to get into a network size here.
What?
All right, last thing. What do you want me to call you guys?
I don't know. You can do whatever. You can say whatever you want.
Identitarian left is so clunky.
What?
Extreme left seems like an insult. How about Max left? I don't know. You tell me. What do you want to? Because we disagree on these things, right? So I gotta pee.
I gotta pee. You can come up with it.
All right, fuck it. We're not gonna come up with anything.
Okay. Well,
Max left. I don't know.
Okay. Well, I don't think there is any need to distinguish.
There is, because we don't agree.
I don't think there's any need to do that.
I disagree with defund the police. I need to call them something. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I'm trying to say, tell me a respectful thing to call you. Max left. I don't know. But I disagree, and I'm allowed to disagree.
No, you are.
And by the way, again, I keep emphasizing the overwhelming majority of left-wing voters agree with me. So since that is true, I have to say you are not the moderate left.
Oh, see, even Cenk realizes the importance of outgroup identification. I have to be able to eject some people from my political camp. I don't want to be identified with these people. I don't want the baggage that they carry. Yeah. Why can't Hasan engage here? Because Hasan tries to go mask on, right? When he goes and he tricks the people on Pod Save America that don't do any homework for the shows that they do, or any of the other like MSNBC or CNN, the people that just have like simps for them that don't do any of the actual research. Hasan likes to mask on for these people, right? He'll hide the fact that he's like a quasi-authoritarian fascist fuck when he goes onto these shows, so he can't ever identify as anything further left than progressive. I don't know if Hasan will ever identify as anything further left than progressive. It would be incredibly uncomfortable for him to do so. But now Cenk is probably progressive, or at least like populist progressive or something there, and there's no way that Hasan can own a label that's like further left than that, because he always has to be mask on so he can maintain his relationship with the mainstream media outlets that will do business with him.
You are the non-moderate left.
Okay, you can call people socialists if you want. I think that's
different. That's economic. But anyway, I'm also not a socialist, but that's a different conversation. Yeah. All right, guys, listen. Happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving. Thank you for doing this. This is fun. I like having this conversation. We all like it. I appreciate everybody who watched. And now, we all get along? When we go to, I don't agree with Joy Reid. Okay, don't say, oh, don't invite people to Thanksgiving if you don't agree with them. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, we're all fucking Americans. Let's all get.
AOC and Bernie brand themselves as Dem socks. Isn't Hasan the same? No, Hasan is significantly to the. He's like off the spectrum of whatever left right is. Like he's an illiberal. He's anti-liberal. He's not in favor of like liberal world order, liberal establishment, capitalism. He's not in favor of that stuff. MAGA thinks they are liberals. I think this is what's doing damage to Dems as well. I don't know what that sentence means. MAGA thinks they are liberals? Who, Hasan, or that MAGA thinks that they themselves are liberals? I don't know what the first part of that sentence means. I thought you didn't consider Bernie Sanders liberal, or was it about his fans? I think Bernie Sanders is probably like Demsoc, like legitimately a democratic socialist, like wants to move in the direction of socialism, but his fans are significantly less incrementalist than him and push for way more radical shit than he does. But I need to finish this so I can start refining the bullshit here and then have these as like talking points when I go and chat with people, but I feel lazy. I don't want to do this right now. Why do you keep spamming this fucking soccer clip? If you started a news company, wouldn't you also be a bit cucked like Sam Seder is to his employees? Sam Seder's not cucked to his employees. He chooses to have those employees.
Een serieuze journalist. Ja, Theo, jij bent een serieuze journalist. Analist, je ziet veel. Wat gebeurt hier allemaal?
Ja, dit is heel veel pech hebben. Dit is heel veel pech hebben.
De tweede ook nog.
Ja, dit is wel heel zuur natuurlijk. Je ziet hem ook kijken zo, wat gebeurt er nou hier? Ja.
Van de regen.
Maar hij had er nog wel eentje vast, hè?
Ja.
Dus hij komt nog eventjes door.
Maar we moeten nog ik denk nog één keer even goed kijken. Even dat we hem heel scherp hebben. Want er gebeurt hier echt veel. Kijk, komt hij, hè? Kijk, de eerste, colaatje. Oh! En dan, die trapt hem. Hij
trapt hem met de andere uit de handen.
Maar in zijn gezicht ook.
Okay, it's a funny clip, but I don't know why you're spamming my chat with like random, here, 3 days, take a break. Like this isn't like fucking Sniper Wolf XXX React channel, okay? Like, what do you want me to say, okay? Dropping the coke is bad, okay? What do you want me to say? What am I supposed to say about it, okay? He shouldn't be kicking balls into people's drinks. Oh, I've seen this cringy fucking shit that some of these guys, I think it's mainly him, but some of these like, not dark web, intellectual dark web people were like, oh, now that Trump is in, he's been like these are schizophrenic thoughts, okay? They're like, Trump has secretly been talking to us the entire time, and now that he's in, he's going to make all of us cabinet members from the intellectual dark web. I don't know if that's what this clip is about, but I've seen some things from this cringe lord saying that. Holy cringe.
Hope that the U.S. could restart cowboy science, that we could drive a wooden stake through the heart of DEI, which devitalizes us, that we could bring back the great man theory of physics, which is just a belief in the individual rather than the committee, or that something is in the zeitgeist or the Volksgeist.
I could be wrong because I don't do a lot of individual science, obviously, like fucking actual scientific research, not even like reading papers, but like publishing papers. But the way that I've always heard this expressed is that today, like the problems with science, or not the problems with science, but if you want to make big breakthroughs, you're part of like massive teams of people working on things because you have to be so specialized in the research, working in such like grand laboratories, or like with the Large Hadron Collider, and you're working off of these theories that have had so many people all around the world working on them, that the idea that you're having one guy come in and he's like, actually, relativity, whoa, and like blowing everybody's mind, it's just generally not, that just isn't the way that scientific progress happens now. Not because we don't value great men or great individual scientists, it's just really hard for one person to like come through with that breakthrough. That's why so many of the big papers that are published will have like tons of researchers and everything accredited. But I mean, I don't know.
Is in the zeitgeist or the Volksgeist. It could build us the most fantastic weapons we've ever seen. But it's now time to risk it all. The thing that I'm really excited about is the end of the stagnation in theoretical physics. And in particular, I have an entrant in that, which is called geometric unity, which has been completely misunderstood because nobody has actually really gone into it.
Eric Weinstein, what did he say? Geometric unity? He proposes a theory of everything. Where is his published or publication date? Published date. Eric Weinstein to publish his geometric unity paper on April 1st, 2021. Where did he publish it at?
You've mentioned...
Control F, journal. Okay, that's weird that that's not mentioned at all. Publish. Okay. Paper.
You've mentioned to Brian Keating that you may be releasing a geometric unity paper this year or some other form of additional material on the topic. What is your thinking around this? What's the process you're going through now?
Well, it's very
preparing this.
I used April 1st to try to start a tradition, which I hope to use to liberate mankind. The tradition is that at least one day a year, you should be able to say heretical things and not have Jack Dorsey boot you off, or Mark Zuckerberg. Your provost shouldn't call you up and say, what did you say? We need, at some level, to have a jubilee from centralized control.
One day, do a stream about Swiss politics. The government is made up of all parties, and the most divisive political topics are the interest rates. TH of excitement guaranteed. Okay.
And so my hope is that, you know what a tradition is in America? Something a baby boomer did twice.
Impeachment?
It's very funny.
Oh. Okay, my bad. So he didn't actually publish a paper. He posted it as a YouTube video instead, and then made a website. Okay. Gotcha. Okay.
And taken it seriously. And it's going to be hysterically funny if for 40 years...
Here's his paper. I don't know enough anything to fight with or debunk literally anything that's being posted about high-level theoretical physics at all. So I don't know why there's nothing I can do from any of this. So, but thank you for the link.
I've been trying to have the conversation with a community that refuses to have the conversation openly and honestly. There's like all this backstabbing and skullduggery and interference competition, all that. is for the same time that string theory has taken up all the oxygen, geometric unity has been available. And if I'm correct,
is string theory something that's even like ultra commonly discussed or theorized or written about? Like, is there a lot of oxygen being given to string theory these days? I don't actually know. I don't know what we could look at. I don't even know what journal publishes the most about like theoretical physics and whatnot, but
there's so much great work to be done, and there's so much hope, and there's so much possibility, because if we can start believing that the stars are a vacation destination, that we can homestead in the cosmos, it's going to be that moment with Ferdinand and Isabella on a scale that we've never seen.
I also think something that helps, also keep in mind, I'm not a science expert, okay? I'm not a science expert, but if you want to make big headway, I think, into any of these scientific fields by proposing a new theory, at the very least, ideally, your theory should be able to explain something or predict something that certain models can't account for, right? Like relativity, I'm trying to think. Relativity was able to make novel predictions that couldn't be explained by classical mechanics. Things related to time dilation, things related to, reconciling different speeds and multiple frames of reference. Like relativity made novel predictions that could not be accounted for with the standard. I shouldn't say the standard model, actually, with like classical mechanics or whatever. Is there some problem? Is there some novel prediction that Weinstein's theory makes that can't be accounted for with QFT, or that can't be explained, or some problem that it helps to solve? Like,
and I think it's hard to talk about, because there are very few unprecedented things. If you think about the hydrogen bomb in '52. Nobody had ever seen a thermonuclear explosion on planet Earth. That's the kind of thing that only happens in the sun. This is one of the only things that's never happened before.
Okay. It's supposed to be a theory of everything. Yeah, but I think I'm trying to think if I want to butcher my way through giving a hack fuck misunderstanding of anything. I don't think there's a good way in right now with quantum mechanics to understand how gravity works. For some reason, I don't know why. I can't break it down in detail, but there's not a good way to account for it. Although I think there's hacky add-ons to do it, but there's just not a good way to account for, I guess, how gravity works or what exactly it is. And that's like the unifying theory. But the idea that like this guy who has he ever published a paper in anything in his entire life has stumbled upon the answer that thousands or tens of thousands of other physicists, thinkers, engineers, whatever, all these other people that are working in the field and working with these things, like, I don't know, maybe, who knows. 124 in this video. I see this Professor Dave video. I don't know. I don't have time to watch this hour, 20, whatever minute video, but.
Real audience, random people on the internet. His pseudo paper is not intended for an academic audience at all. Why would he expect to be taken seriously?
Wait, read the first line in his paper. The author is not a physicist and is no longer an active academician, but is an entertainer and host of the Portal podcast. This work of entertainment is a draft of work in progress, which is the property of the author and thus may not be built upon or renamed or profited from without express permission of the author. Okay. Okay.
By the scientific community when he is specifically telling everyone that he shouldn't be taken seriously. Indeed, nobody in the physics community cared at all or acknowledged him in the slightest, which Eric then pretended to be enraged about, like a little play for his fans. For years, he had been baselessly complaining about how string theory has a mafia-like stranglehold on funding in the field and aggressively shuts out alternative ideas, especially his, which is so revolutionary, he regularly claims, that it is the key to achieving faster-than-light travel and making us a space-colonizing multiplanetary species. Yeah.
Because you're saying we could get off this planet. What are you talking about in terms of the actual implementation of this theory of yours?
Despite his disclaimers, the dialogue Eric had been pretending to yearn for suddenly came. Two people from within the Discord server, a mathematician and a physicist, decided to dig into Eric's work. They published a paper discrediting it more than a month before Eric even put out his pretend paper, based on the Oxford video.
Just to be clear, for Eric Weinstein's background, he has a PhD in mathematical physics from Harvard University in 1992. So he is background and credentialed in this, so I don't know why he would say in his paper that he's not a physicist. I don't know. When it just says mathematical physics, I don't know if that means he doesn't do any research like working on theories or anything. I mean, if you're a PhD, I imagine you did a dissertation, extensions of self-dual Yang-Mills equations across the 8th dimension. So he's a math guy. Yeah, but I think a lot of theoretical physics is probably, like, my guess would be, is very, 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 very math heavy, right?
These two were Timothy Nguyen and someone going by the pseudonym Theo Polya.
I promise you. Oh wait, Dustin, he's really smart. Yeah, I'm sure. He might be in his area, although this even should be his area. I guess the thing that confuses me is that, like, even this James Lindsay guy, or is it Lindsay James? Isn't he a PhD math person as well? Am I making that up? What did he do his PhD in? Oh, PhD in mathematics. This guy's a PhD in math, so I would assume at least he has numbers and shit well. But when I debated this guy on stage, like, he didn't even know basic finance, and he wants to talk about, like, insane shit relating to, it wasn't DEI back then that everybody freaked out about. It was ESG. That was his obsession. But, like, I don't understand how you could know so much here and then, like, try to make these like really basic arguments about finance, but not even understand, like, just basic finance. I don't know, man. That's just I don't understand. I don't understand these people. I don't know, man.
Eric didn't like this one bit, as it ruined his whole facade, so he began to attack anyone who acknowledged this paper, accusing them of backstabbing him, and then eliminated his critics altogether by cutting the Discord in half, banning many members, and maintaining correspondence only with his remaining acolytes, thereby enacting the precise brand of suppression he falsely accuses academia of doing. You can see just how volatile Eric would get when pressed about this paper by listening to this conversation on Clubhouse. Somebody is asking when Eric will address the criticism head-on, and this is how he decided to handle it.
When we'll hear, like, a debate with you and Theo and Timothy about...
Sorry, who's Theo?
Timothy and Theo, they put out their retort to...
Sorry, who's Theo?
Theo Polya and Timothy...
Yeah, I'm not aware of Theo Polya.
We don't know who he is. Yeah, we have
who's
to know
Theo Polya?
Do you know who Timothy Nguyen is?
Let's talk about Theo Polya. Who's Theo Polya?
He's the co-author from the paper.
Who is he? Yeah, who is he? I don't know.
That wasn't the question, though,
No,
right?
That is the question.
No, the question was...
No, that is the question. No, you're not understanding. No, you're not understanding me. I've never heard in the history of physics anybody expecting to be taken seriously as an anonymous critic.
As you can see...
Wait, why would that matter? Wouldn't it just be about the information and the facts and the knowledge, bro? Because if you just want to appeal to the mainstream, if it can't be an anonymous author, then, I mean, bro, what do you, like, where's your paper published? You're literally self-hosting a theory of everything paper. You can't even publish it in a shitty journal? Like, I'm sure he's famous enough to get a shitty journal to publish it. No, like, what's the point? I don't know.
Eric fixates on the identity of Theo Polya, cutting off the person speaking repeatedly as a way of derailing the conversation. It's irrelevant who Theo is. If there is substance to the criticism, it doesn't matter who is providing it, just like his insistence that it doesn't matter that his grand theory is coming from someone totally outside of academia. Eric should engage with the criticism, especially since the other author is not anonymous. Tim Nguyen is a mathematician with a doctorate in gauge theory, the exact same field as Eric, and he is desperately hiding from this fact. Apart from flat out muting the person asking him about this paper, he pulls out every other excuse in the book to run away from it, from pretending it doesn't exist to making up stories about the authors being internet trolls who harassed his family and everything else imaginable.
Behavior of those gentlemen, however many there are, 2 or more, including various misogynistic comments against my colleagues, disrespecting Sabina Hassenfelder, who...
What do you want?
Me?
Yeah, you joined.
Are you streaming?
Yeah, duh.
Okay, bye-bye.
Why would you just look to see if somebody's in a room and then join and not assume? I'm a streamer.
While she may be a critic, is also a friend of mine. I'm fucking sick of these 2 people, assuming it is 2 people. Maybe it's... But we don't know what Theo Polya is.
Correct.
So sorry. No.
So there is a paper that was put out rebutting geometric unity, right?
No, there wasn't a paper that was put out rebutting geometric unity. There was an attempt to publish something on the archive, which was rejected.
Yeah, but your paper isn't even published anywhere, no? Are there any more car streams in the future? Did you find this out what you wanted? Can you tell us what it is? No, I'm never buying a new car ever. But if I did, it would be that, whatever that GTR thing. No, not the GTR. Is it the Porsche 991992, whatever that was? GT3, that thing, yeah.
That attempted to get in front of the draft that I put out, specifically looking at the text messages that were found on the server that supports these people to, quote, make me cry, close quote.
Why not just, like, they wrote a whole ass paper for you to respond to. Like, I feel like this is a dream. I would cry if somebody actually wrote out a thing of substance for me to respond to instead of just like personally insulting me all day. This is like the best thing in the world. If you're so smart, and you are, why not just respond to it?
Talking about is a phenomenon where people are trying to exploit a situation in order to make a name for themselves. And you'll notice that many people from that Discord server are trying to get people like you to react to me, to name these names. No, you're not. I'm going to mute you if you don't keep it up. All right, you're muted now. I think you're not understanding what I'm saying. And we don't allow people in general to go around making a name for themselves by being obnoxious, misogynistic, manipulative. It's fucking enough. You know, the archive meets 4chan.
He calls them archive meets 4chan as though he isn't.
Did you read all of Mr. Girl's substantive paper? Fuck no. Jesus. You're muted? Yeah, true. Okay. All right. We've done our memes for today. I'm going to do 2 of these, and then we're just going to read Federalist papers for the rest of the day, okay? We've done our entertaining thing. Have you ever heard of Don't Think of an Elephant by George Lakoff? It's by an American neuroscientist and linguist about the roots of the progressive slash conservative worldviews and how that applies to debate. I feel like I've heard it referenced before and seen like things to it, but I don't think I've never read it before. I might have seen like excerpts from it, but and we're not thinking of an elephant. At the end of the day, many claims are made about things or conditions in the United States. The average person can never really verify as being true or untrue. As a result, bro, I feel like somebody's actually living in my fucking walls. I hear the movements. I know you guys are moving in there. As a result, people can make whatever claims they want to further whatever agenda they want. Without requiring any of those claims to be true or verified. Okay. I have examples of the problem and then how the right deals with this problem. Examples of the problem. What are some of the biggest, dumbest, like, memes made over the past, like, I guess 8 years? I guess, like, January 6th was just like a peaceful protest / riot. Oh, wait, actually, hold on. Oftentimes, these claims can be in direct contradiction to other claims as well, even if both are false. So, for instance, January 6th was a peaceful protest / riot, but it was also a violent event that was caused by federal agents. Russian collusion. I can't spell that at all. Collusion was entirely meritless. Eating the cats and the dogs, obviously. The hurricane machines. Almost every claim about illegal immigration. Anything related to QAnon. Vaccine, injury, misinformation. Especially due to mRNA tech, but then not distinguishing distinguishing the mRNA vaccines from the other vaccines. The Biden crime family. Anything related to George Soros. The Twitter files. Michelle Obama, or who is Macron's wife? What's her name? Bridget Macron being a man. Oh, ivermectin / hydroxychloroquine. Myths. Why space laser? Okay, I don't need more of that. How does the right deal with this problem? I think it's going back to the media apparatus. The right is never held accountable unless these problems become so significant that the electorate cannot ignore them. The right's media apparatus will never force them to answer any questions relating to any of these issues and will instead deflect and pivot to other attacks. Examples of their solutions. The Foxbee is just the best example ever. I don't want to bother Steven with this. Wait, what? Oh. You're getting a Sony FX3. Will it come with a lens? I don't know. You should read it on the box. It'll say, right? Senate Republicans refusing to convict Trump for Jan 6th. Judge Thomas writing an excuse for Cannon to dismiss Trump's Mar-a-Lago case. Jesus Christ. More media solutions. Media publicizing bullshit documentaries / reports on vaccine / voter misinformation. Did that Died Suddenly documentary become big at all? Or I don't know if that was just because I was talking to Sneeko at the time. But I know 2000 Mules and Died Suddenly were two stupid fucking documentaries that got publicized. Oh, true. Republican House committees incessantly going after people like Hunter Biden, or special counsels going after people like Joe Biden, Garland, or Bill Clinton, Starr. How to fix the problem. Oh, true. Yeah, no, that's true. Or dead end investigations that Republicans still get credit for winning, even though nothing came of them, e.g. Hillary's emails in Benghazi. What is the solution to lack of adherence to factual reality? I don't actually know the answer to this. Somehow, Democrats need to tether Republican policy decisions to things that happen in the real world. I don't know what the answer to this is. Examples of potential solutions. This is what conservatives do, but it's really brutal. Conservatives often sunset legislation or push out expiration dates on things outside of their administration so they can blame the next administration when things go wrong, such as the Afghanistan pullout or a lot of the tax provisions that Trump made. I wish I could remember the bill it was a part of. Making it, or i.e. is such as, people having to pay back their suspended FICA income as part of his tax cuts. Fuck, what was the legislation? Does anybody know what I'm talking about for this? Tax Cuts and Jobs Act of 2017. Was that? I need to make sure that was actually real. That's so insane. There's no way that's actually real, right? Did he really do that? Tax Cuts and Jobs Act 2017, Trump, FICA. There were, if I can remember correctly, Donald Trump basically had it set so that for some of these, like, there was a provision that suspended you having to pay for, I want to say it was your FICA taxes, but at the end of the bill, if it wasn't like extended, you would have to pay it all back by the end of the year. Does anybody remember what I'm talking about? Is this real or am I making this up? When is the Adam Friedland shit coming out? I don't know. Hopefully the next couple months or a couple weeks. Hopefully. I don't know how long it takes him to edit a thing. Does anybody remember what I'm talking about? You didn't answer. What currency did you get paid in at Destiny? Get paid in for what? I get paid in USD. Suspended withholding. The Trump payroll tax deferral. Was that it? think this might be it. I think, I remember there being a thing relating to FICA taxes that was deferring them for a year, but then at the end of the year, you would have to like pay them back as a lump sum. It was insanely fucking stupid, but it was pushed outside, I believe, of, I think it was pushed outside of Trump's term. So it would basically be blamed on the next admin. I need to read more on. Was this only on the employer side, or was this on the employee side as well? Was that COVID provisions? No, I don't. I think it was part of this deferred thing here. This is how it works. Wait, this is literally what I had open before. Well, these changes to the payroll taxes that cause Social Security to run out of money just for years here does not affect Social Security's trust funds, as the taxes are only deferred. Fortunately, Democrats have attempted to politicize the chief actuary by writing a letter asking for analysis of unrelated hypothetical payroll tax. The EO applies to the employee portion of Social Security payroll taxes, Medicare payroll taxes, and the employer portion are not included. Does the deferral apply to the parallel Social Security taxes owed by... Oh, okay, so this only applied to the employee side. Employers may defer the employee portion of Social Security payroll tax for any employees whose wages are less than $4,000 for a biweekly period. This must have been extended or something, right? Is there anything the U.S. or people can do about child labor in places like China, or is that something that will only be fixed in the country itself? Your best pressure for things like that are usually done through trade agreements or trade deals. But we don't really want to do those right now in the United States because we're opposed to all forms of, I guess, globalization or international trade. So, yeah. An employer must withhold and pay the total applicable taxes deferred from wages and compensation paid from January 1st, 2021 to April 30th, 2021. Interest, penalties, and additions to tax will begin to accrue on May 1st. So if I can understand this, basically, right? So I think basically what it was saying is for a year, the federal government would allow you to keep all of the 6.1% that you ordinarily pay into Social Security. You could keep that. But then as soon as January 1st, 2021 rolls around, your employer is mandated to take all of that that's owed from your check. This is such unbelievable. What was this extended, or what was the ultimate outcome of this? Because this is like an insane fucking, it's an insane provision to have as an executive order. There must have been some kind of outcome. Like there must have been either the Democrats just forgave this completely as part of the American Rescue Plan or something, would be my guess. And it was going to be an executive order, which is insane, but... This is so sociopathic, but perhaps things like FEMA or other federal financial aid should only be taxed from and given to people who vote to support it? Question mark? These are like unhinged. These are unhinged suggestions, but... trying to think of one more thing. Why was the Hurricane Matthew FEMA thing never held against Trump? Because Republicans don't ever hold their own accountable, ever. Ever. They don't give a fuck. Okay, whatever. I don't know what else. It's got to be something else here. What about assignments for infrastructure? Oh, this sounds stupid, but having paid for by X legislation required to be attached to projects that are paid for by legislation from a particular Congress. There was a thing that we saw that I thought was really cute. There was some like banner up for something being constructed, and I think it said like paid for by the 2022 or whatever Bipartisan Infrastructure Act. I think that tying stuff like that, I think is really important. But I feel like you're trying to debate someone out of religion's impossible. These aren't like debate points. These are just like major things I want to keep in mind for the media. And then I want to test these talk. I need to finish this list of things, and then I want to try these. I want to condense them into like a more digestible version of things, and then like pilot them against people in conversations. And then when I have like a digestible list of things, I'll make a short video on it. And it's just good for me to keep in mind for my own like media messaging going forward. It just gives me more guidance, basically.